Hey everyone, Winslow here. We are in Imperion, Galactic Survival, in Reforged Eden 1.10. We're on the Dread Planet still, with my shuttle, which is now fully operational. And it's time to go get more stuff. Because I got to start working on my escape plan for this planet. So I'm making sure that I've got everything that I need for a short spacewalk. I've got plenty of fuel, plenty of oxygen. I have my EVA booster that I found in an abandoned base. And the shuttle is good. It's good and ready. It's got solid movement and yep, got my EVA with me. It's got solid movement. Now, in and around space on the Dread Planet, there's lots of wrecks. There's lots of clusters of busted up ships that have storage containers or components in them. And mostly anything that I'm looking for is thrusters, fuel, or hard to come by components like constructor or I guess ammo too. I know a couple of these have ammo boxes in them. And I'd like to start getting some pentaxid. Now there's a red heat signature up over there, but it's far enough away. I don't think that ship is going to come near us. We are nowhere near equipped to handle any sort of enemy craft. We could fight off drones, the little drone ships, not the enemy faction drones. But I know that we're not prepared for that. One thing I also need is titanium, which is down on one of the moons. But let's go searching through some of these boxes and see what we can find. If I remember correctly, these ships tend to have quite a large pile of ammunition if you find the ammo box. It's usually the regular Gatling rounds and then colonist rounds. It's important when going out to space, if you're able to make sure that you have an EVA booster on, because that will insulate you while in space. And, oh, well, there's the ammo that I wanted. The alien bolter rounds you can't really use, so I'll just have to see if I can recycle those into a factory or something. But yes, an EVA booster is, unless you want to continue making trips in and out of your ship, it'll prevent you from freezing to death in space. Every sector has a different temperature, and there are some really cold sectors that you need 2 EVA boosts, or an EVA and an insulator. But you don't want to keep your EVA in your booster slots at all times, because it reduces your armor, and it really just kneecaps your movement when you're in anything related to gravity. So if you're on planet side or you're something with a gravity generator. So I will usually keep the EVA in the ship that I'm using. And there. Okay. So around Dread there are 3 moons. There's 2 regular barren moons and then a lava. And that enemy ping is not moving. I'm curious what ship it is, but I also don't care about what ship it is because we're not going to go up against it yet. The nice thing about single player is when you defeat enemy ships, you can reclaim them because they won't disappear. In multiplayer, they despawn when you go out of render distance. In single player, you can put a core in them and you can fix them up and then fly them. Now, the problem with a lot of the enemy ships is they don't obey the same laws that we have to when we make ships. So they usually have way too much CPU, or they weigh more than is possible to fly. Ooh, that's 50 pentaxid. That's good. So some of the lighter ships, some of the small fighters, or I like the bandit ships just because of their style. Those are ones that you can take and fly reasonably well. But any of the larger ships, if you go after Polaris, you're not going to be able to do much with their ships. If you go after the Xerax, you might be able to retrofit an Immarat. But that thing it has thick hull, it has multiple layers of hull, and it just requires a lot. I don't think you would really be able to do anything with the battle carrier or the dreadnought. Maybe we can test that out when we get to that point, which we will. So just like on the planet, if I want to salvage something, I'm going to just be popping the cores. And here, this wreck site has a bunch of generators. And I'd like to get some free generators for a ship. Unlike the exploration shuttle, it's very, very hard to find a crashed capital vessel that you can fix to fly, because most capital vessels that are found, the crashed ones, are actually bases. Because most of the time in the Empyrean, they try to bury them partway underground to give it the illusion that it crashed in and part of it is embedded in the ground, which is kind of cool. But the problem with that is they have to make it a base. Now, in whatever they're using to create the POI, they can put all of the ship things on it, like thrusters. But it's never going to be a ship. The rare times that it is actually a crashed capital vessel, it won't have any part of it underground. You'll usually see it above ground, and then as you get close within render distance, you'll see it drop to the ground, like it did with the exploration shuttle when we first saw it. But most of those, the vessels that can be salvaged are generally too damaged. The nice thing about this shuttle is that it was small, and it only took me a couple of hours really to fix it up. I think I'm just gonna build something. I've got a design in mind, because I saw a crashed ship and I want to see if I can rebuild it or recreate it. And I have everything I need. I will have everything at my disposal. So these space wrecks are really good for components. Again, this wreck alone has like 12 generators in it. I don't know if it was a station or if it was supposed to be, thruster, or a large combat vessel. Why am I using my pistol? Yeah, use the shotgun. Well, the problem with salvaging thrusters is they're very heavy. No matter which way you do it, salvaging thrusters is going to be a multiple trip process. And the base containers at home, because I'm not using container controllers with container blocks, I'm just using the cargo boxes. they're going to get filled up pretty fast as I start salvaging that escape shuttle. So I think I'm going to be doing rotating salvage some, build some, salvage some, build some to try to get the ship ready. Because I don't think I want to do. I don't want to do a lot of planet to planet travel with the small vessel, just because the jump drive, it takes a lot of pentaxid, and that's pretty limited for me right now because I don't have a good source for it. But it is lower distance and it can't warp in between star systems. So once the capital vessel is ready, I might dismantle this little shuttle, or I will just keep it safe and secure in case I need an emergency exit. I can keep that on the Dread Planet if for some reason I need to return. Like if I get my ship blown up, I can have this as a backup somewhere. Let's go to the moons. One thing I do wish that they were able to improve upon in Empyrean is the planet and moon size and the distance between them. I wish that they were a little bit more realistic, but that would be an enormous undertaking as far as the database size required, like 20,000 systems, 20 plus thousand systems with appropriately scaled planets. I mean, that wouldn't work. But what we have is nice. Sometimes it's nice to have small planets. Sometimes the very large planets they're a real drag to explore because there's so much empty space on them, and it takes a whole day to scout out the planet, which is not necessarily fun. So I did find some titanium that I needed, and I'm just gonna pop my drone out and go dig it up. You can mine remotely with your drone by pressing F5, and your drone will utilize the tool that's in your hand. So you can do a drill or a multi-tool, and you can just dig down and dig out. And it's a lot easier than having to worry about climbing in and out of a pit when you're mining. And if you're connected to a cargo container, everything will go into the cargo container rather than your inventory. I don't need much. I think I only needed 20 titanium for my extender. I really am liking this ship. I do need to reorient some of the thrusters. I need to put in some better forward reverse thrust, because it doesn't stop. It doesn't really slow down well. Okay, and give me the CPU extender. Cool. And this will give me an additional 6,000 CPU in the small ship, in the shuttle, that I can use for additional components. Now, a lot of people, this is just in Reforged Eden. It's a different setup for vanilla, And there are some, if you want to play without the CPU or weight, that's great. That works for you. I genuinely prefer playing with the CPU and the weight because it's like the basic function of the game is that you have to manage those things. Um, is this the good crashed ship? This might be one that can fly. It wouldn't be too bad to fix up, but I don't. Oh, well, that's a giant thruster that I could take. Well, definitely. That could be the centerpiece of my capital ship. That's not on the escape shuttle. Let's just make sure that it can fit in the cargo. Awesome. Okay, so it'll definitely fit in the cargo. Well, that's heavy. I should be able to get maybe 3 or 4 of the small or the medium thrusters. But this, unfortunately, it's actually a base. It's not a ship. So it won't be flying anywhere. But I could come back here and fully dismantle all of the blocks and give myself a lot more building blocks to use. That'll, I think, it'll give me a nice additional buffer. Because the shuttle, the exploration shuttle, has the acceleration rocket or the staged rocket, and then the shuttle itself. And I don't know how many actual steel or hardened or combat steel building blocks are in it. And I don't want to just dismantle the foundation and crush it and have it all fall down, because I don't know if I'll have the appropriate connected inventory space to pick all that up, and I don't want to lose out on it, on all those resources. So I'm going to do it bit by bit. But for now, I added some Gatlings and I put in a shield, and I took some time and adjusted around the cargo, and we're gonna get some experience. I need to get to level 15 so I can unlock the advanced advanced mining drill, because the mechanical drill is not great. This thing does all right. I mean, it is just a basic ship. I do need to get the thrusters adjusted, but enjoy some combat. That was about a dozen to 15 ish drones, and then I did get 2 Gatling gunships. The loot on him is never good, realistically. The loot from most loot boxes in this is not good unless you're looking at the alien loot containers. But it was a good test. I put a jump drive on here, and I am going to rip it out and save on CPU because I'm not going to be going planet to planet with this little ship. It's a solid ship, and I'm happy that I went this route instead of building fresh. But next time we are going to be starting the salvage of the escape craft and building our own capital vessel. See you then.